So we're at this marriage conference and it's going super well. But being here just kind of got us thinking about our own relationship.
And our story. And we thought that we'd share it with you because we've never shared it on film, actually. I don't think
we've shared the whole thing, no. Yeah.
But we have different versions. So we thought we would share them separately for fun. No, mine is definitely correct.
Mine is the right version.
You should have listened to me.
So we thought we'd just take some time to share with you a little bit about how we met, how we ended up dating, how our relationship started from the very beginning.
Here we go.
Good morning! Hey guys, we are in Nashville, getting packed up and ready to go to Alabama today. It's Friday, sun is shining. It's actually, though, 38 degrees outside, even though yesterday it was 78 degrees. It's crazy. But yeah, we're headed to Alabama for a marriage retreat this weekend. Super excited to help lead worship and going to be singing our song, Two Becoming One. Thought we'd take you along with us. And, oh, I did want to mention that we got something very, very exciting. Emily, do you want to say hi? Emily's actually wearing a brand new shirt that we just got for our ministry.
Yes, I am.
And if you've seen us live, then you know that we talk about ourselves being travel size and short and all that jazz. So we decided to make a shirt about it. Hold on. Let's see it.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's perfect.
Fun size, travel size, perfect size.
We're excited to add this to our table.
Isn't this just fun? We talk about it all the time. We're like, this needs to be on a t-shirt. And now it is. Yum. How did that get there?
What is it?
Well, it looks like poop. It's not. It's a date.
Ew.
I think June just chucked it. Made it in the car.
On the way, Alabama.
We managed to pack up the car and the kids once more.
I feel like we're terrible packers.
We are terrible packers.
I think we have to pack so much that we don't want to pack. And so we put it off to the last minute and then we just kind of throw things together. And it's just how we do it.
The struggle is real. But this may not sound like an achievement to many of you, but we can see our back windshield, and that is an achievement for us.
I can see it a lot, not even just a little bit.
So we must be getting better, right?
We must. We've been driving all of 5 minutes and we had to stop because we have new merchandise and Emily is going to go pick up a new sign that we printed off for the weekend.
Well, this is just special.
What? What happened?
Would you like to buy a necklace?
No.
Yeah. I read it 3 times. It's been that way for weeks, actually. I just moved up the thing so that it was better spaced.
Babe.
I'm sorry. You think people, their brain will just unscramble it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll fix it later.
We are in Alabama. We made it, and I'm tired of driving. It took a long time to get here. A lot longer to get here than I thought. Sorry.
No, I know.
And I'm kind of hangry.
He's really hangry.
So I'm kind of moody. Happy.
He's dreaming of donuts.
Hungry and moody. But there's a Krispy Kreme donuts right by our hotel.
Just say no.
Just say yes. Good morning. I'm ready for some breakfast. Are you ready for breakfast? Yeah.
No. You do not scratch an eyeball.
June wanted to say hi again. Say hi.
Hey.
Whoa. Yes, breakfast. What are we gonna eat? Sweet, healthier, or healthiest? You picked the sweetest, huh?
Yeah, the sweetest.
All right. We had a great retreat. It's over and we are spending the afternoon here in the hotel. And it's February the 9th, I believe. And Judah decided he wanted to go swimming. Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. They said that the pool is heated, so there's that. Is it warm?
Yes.
So how did Emily and I meet? Well, I can tell you my version of the story because my version of the story is probably just a little bit different than Emily's version of the story.
This is my version about how Jonathan and I came to be a couple. We truly were just friends for a really long time.
We were friends at first because
I had somebody that I was interested in at home, and he had a crush on somebody at school.
we just kind of became friends. We were in the same friend group.
The first time that I talked to Jonathan was after our very first vocal seminar. And the way that works at Belmont and a lot of vocal programs is you go to this class where you sing a song for all the people in the class and they critique you, and it is terrifying, especially as a freshman, and you don't know what you're doing. I was so nervous, and Jonathan went right before me. And he was the only person in the class that sang a song that he wrote, which I thought was super cool. And I sang, what did I sing? I sang Jackie Velasquez, I Get on My Knees. Except I did it to a karaoke track, which was super cool. I even think it might have been a cassette. No, it was a CD. But it was a karaoke track, so not as cool as him. And so after the class, I went up to him and was like, you really encouraged me getting to hear your song. It really helped my nerves just to remember why I'm singing and who I'm singing for. And that's kind of where our friendship started. And the interesting part about our relationship is that when I got to Belmont, about 2 months in, I found out that I had a vocal polyp on my vocal cords, and I actually had to spend the first 2 years of my time at Belmont as a vocal major on vocal rest most of the time. It's kind of a long story for another day, probably, but it's really important in my story with Jonathan because he was one of my only friends that would hang out with me for hours on end and read my lips and just talk to me. Because when you are on vocal rest, sadly, a lot of people just stop talking to you or they start whispering at you. Jonathan never did that. He would just sit with me in the caf and read as I wrote on my dry erase whiteboard, because we didn't have texting yet, which is nuts. And he just became such a dear friend during that really fragile, scary time for me. And once I started being able to sing a little bit here and there, Jonathan, because he's always written songs and led worship for things, would ask me to sing backup for him.
I would go and lead worship for different things, and Emily would come with me. We just built a friendship on worship leading and on mutual friend groups.
You know, I think probably the first time that I wondered, like, oh, maybe we could be something was sophomore year, and we were in a practice room and he was letting me sing harmony on something that he had written, and I thought, this is really nice. I think I kind of like this guy, but he doesn't like me. Like, this isn't a thing. We're just friends.
So one thing that probably really hindered us getting together sooner was that not everybody, but a lot of people were telling me that they thought that Emily and I were going to eventually end up together just because we were such good friends. And I also thought that maybe people were just telling me that because she just happened to be one of the shorter girls in our class, shorter than me at least. I kind of have a stubborn streak, and I was like, no, I am not going to be told what to do. I determine my own fate. We shall see. But sure enough, I realized that Emily was really great, that we were really good friends. I really liked her a lot, liked hanging out with her. She was really, really pretty, and she loved the Lord, and that meant a lot to me. And so at the end of our sophomore year, after knowing each other for a couple years, I decided that I was kind of starting to like Emily, but I was a little bit nervous because when you have a good friendship like that, you don't want to ruin it.
Truly, he gave me no clue whatsoever that he might like me at all. Jonathan's just the kind of guy that he waits until it's like time to pull the trigger to show you his cards. And so I truly had no clue.
But finally I worked up the courage and I decided that I was going to go and ask her if she would like to go on a date with me sometime. And so I knew she had this kind of ensemble choir rehearsal one night, and it was late at night, and I decided I was just going to show up at the end of it, and I was going to pick her up in my car, and I was going to ask her if she wanted to go for a ride and if I could take her home.
He showed up at like 11 p.m. to come pick me up and take me back to my dorm room, which was not a normal thing because I could have walked.
Hey, good to see you, friend. Would you like to go on a ride with me? I'd love to take you home. And she was like, sure, that sounds great.
And I was like, what is he doing? And so I get in the car and he drives me back to the dorm.
She can tell that I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not quite being myself. I'm really trying, but I'm just nervous. And we park, we're talking for a little while, and then finally I got really quiet.
And he starts telling me all these beautiful, wonderful things about how he's loved seeing me grow in the Lord and just be my friend, and how he wanted to start pursuing me, and if that totally freaked me out, and if I wanted to do that.
And I think I just asked her. I just threw it out there. I was like, hey, how would you feel about going on a date with me sometime?
I was so truly flattered, but I was so truly surprised because I had no idea.
And y'all, I kid you not, this is what happened. She said, I've never thought about you that way.
I told him honestly what I was thinking, which was, I'm really flattered and I'm really gonna think about this, and I had no idea that you liked me, so I need some time to think about it.
Now, I received this as a rejection. You can tell me how you received this. She swears up and down that she did not reject me.
He took that as a no, a nice way to say no, which that does not mean no. It just means I had to think about it.
So I just was like, okay, that's it. That's fine. That's okay. She was like, can I have a few days to think about it? And I was like, sure. I'm obviously super embarrassed. She left the car. I think she was feeling a little bit bad. I think we had like a week, and then we went on Easter break, and Emily went with a friend.
It was spring break, and I drive home with my best friend for spring break. And one of my favorite artists is Bethany Dillon. Now she's Bethany Bernard. But at the time, she came out with this album, and she was writing all of these songs on that album at the time that were about her now husband, Shane Bernard. And so it's all these love songs, and I'm driving home spring break and listening to all these, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is me and Jonathan. I do like him. This is perfect. And so by the time I get back to school from spring break, I have decided that this is absolutely the most providential, wonderful thing, and I am so ready to date Jonathan.
And at this point, I had thought she had totally rejected me. I thought that this was not going to work out. She had not thought of me this way. And I just, I'm not going to say that this kind of thing hadn't played out like this for me before, but it had, okay? Like, I had a lot of girls tell me they hadn't quite thought of me that way, you know what I'm saying? And so I had moved on. I was like, okay, this isn't going to work. We're just going to be friends.
I get into my little white Ford Ranger pickup, and I come screeching out of my dorm room parking lot, and I ran into a big pole. I just backed right into one, I think, in the parking deck. That was awesome. And then I show up at his apartment, and I'm like, hey, I thought about it. I want to date you.
So she comes back from Easter, and she comes over one night to my apartment and sits on the couch and seems really giddy and really excited. And she was like, Jonathan, just want to let you know that I'm ready to try. And I was like, ready to try what?
And he was like over it and was like, you told me no.
I was like, what? I just was so thrown off. And so I was like, oh, well, I don't know. I need time to think about it now.
I don't even remember how we recovered from the awkwardness of that conversation.
We just couldn't get on the same page.
And then we just kind of went along business as usual for a little while. Then over the summer, we did a tour together. All summer long, I was totally crushing on him and wondering, is he ever gonna ask me out again? Like, is it just over? Like, what is this? Because again, not showing me his cards. We finally get back junior year. And oh my gosh, I can't remember how he asked me out on the first date. Jonathan, this is really embarrassing. How did he ask me out? This is not good. I should remember this. I remember the date, but I can't remember how he asked me out on the date. Uh-oh. Oh no. Okay, maybe if I just keep thinking really hard. I really do. I remember the date so well, but I don't remember how he asked me. Still thinking. Maybe if I just call him, tell me how he asked me out on the date. Oh no. This is what it's like to be old.
Hey.
This is really embarrassing.
What?
I can't remember how you asked me out on our first date.
Remember I showed up to the back of your company rehearsal and
Well,
picked you up?
Yeah, but that's when I turned you down, and then we didn't date for the whole summer. It wasn't until junior year that we went on our date.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that either.
He doesn't remember either. You're on camera.
I am?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember that part either, so we'll just skip that part.
Okay, well, we'll skip that part. Cool. All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye. I don't even remember how we actually ended up deciding to go on a date, but...
Okay, well, neither of us remember how he asked me out.
And we finally went on our first date, and it was great. We had a great time. We went and did mini putt-putt golf.
But then we went on our first date junior year, and I remember that he brought me daisies, because I love daisies.
Actually ended up repeating that date when I asked her to marry me. I took her on a repeat of our first date.
But what was so sweet was once we realized that we were actually more than friends, things just flew for us because we had such a great foundation.
And so, long story short, here we are, maybe 12 years later, at a hotel in Alabama, singing at a marriage retreat after having been married for almost 9 years.
Yeah, I like him. I think I'll keep him.
I know sometimes people think, you guys are just perfect for each other. God just made you totally to be with each other. That's true. I believe that. I think that Emily is totally a gift from the Lord to me. But I just want to encourage you that our story wasn't this magical tale of perfection. We had our own struggles and our own drama, just like anybody else. And that's just how it goes as you're trying to figure out life, as you're trying to figure out your dating life and who you're going to end up marrying, as you're trying to figure out your job and your career. We have to engage with our lives. We have to make decisions. We have to kind of fumble and stumble and fail along the way as we kind of figure out what God has for us. But when you look back, hindsight is 20/20. When you look back, you can see God's guiding hand in your life. At least that's been true for me so far. I'm only 31, about to be 32, but being 32 almost, I can definitely look back and say, wow, God was guiding our lives throughout our sin, throughout our drama, throughout our messiness, throughout not even just sin, but just our own silliness and our own trying to navigate life. It's challenging. Thanks for joining us on this adventure to Alabama for this marriage retreat and for hearing a little bit of our story. If you like this video, please take a second to hit like. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, those kinds of things super help us out over here on YouTube as we're trying to build and grow our channel, and as we're trying to grow this space where we can encourage you in God's Word. Because if you don't know this yet and you're brand new to us, we believe that God's Word not only is 100% true, but that it's also beautiful, powerful, life-giving, and helpful. And so we love creating music, videos, resources in general that help us all and encourage us all to be in God's Word and to not only be in it, but to see it as wonderful in our lives. And so, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on the next video. Bye!